Well, welcome this morning. Uh, our 7K advanced training session. One of the things I want to do this morning is how to handle objections. Those common objections that come up. And so you've been in the business for a while, and even a new person coming in now, this is a very, very good thing to learn to do. For the new person, as you know, when we, in part of our system, we, the person that sponsors a person or their first, let's say, support mentor, a silver, bronze, silver, gold, helps that person with their immediate contacts and answering questions and showing them how to do it through a three-way or being part of that initial contact. But what are some of the common questions that are coming up? Oh, I don't want to be in one of those pyramid deals, or oh, it's one of the multi-level marketing things. And I'm going to tell you, the only way to handle that is direct head-on. And I'm going to use Gary, okay, as my shield. I'm answering all of Gary's objections here. And what you got to say is, these are people you know, and even if it's people you don't know, but the ones that you know, and say, hey, Gary, I know you've heard this before, but this time it's truly true. This is not one of those. This is something totally different. Have you ever heard of member direct marketing? You answer objections mostly with questions, and this is what many people fail to do. You've got to put them on the defense and not you be on the defense. That's the main part of handling objections. So have you ever heard of member direct marketing? And if they're honest, they're going to say no. If they say yes, well, you say, oh, would you give me a few examples, please? But if they're honest, they're going to say, well, no. And so, well, this is what this is. In fact, the founders, Roger Ball, Richard Wayne Hansen, Josh Anderson, and Zach Davis, have over 100 years experience in network marketing collectively. And really what they wanted to do, in particular Roger Ball, wanted to change their experiences, like the experiences you're referring to in network marketing. They want to impact the entire industry with a whole different model, where you and I are paid more than the people just at the top, where the person coming in 10 years from now can make as much or more money than the very first person that joined this business. Now that's truly refreshingly different, wouldn't you agree? See, remember, make a statement, end with a question to them. This is the main part of objection handling, and I've never seen anyone teach it like I do. But this is why our closure rates and the people who follow my system have a better closure rate, and have people that stick in because they're learning through this objection handling process. Make a statement, ask the question. Okay. So that's part of those skills, attitudes, and techniques that takes 2 years to learn. Okay. So they said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, you learn this statement. Wouldn't you agree information is free? They're going to say, yeah. And it only takes a little bit of your time to get information, correct? They'll say, yeah. Well, that's all I want you to do. I just want you to get enough information so you can make an informed business decision, because this is big business. So I'm going to just give you information, and then you go through it and you determine if what you're thinking is true or maybe it's different. Like I know it is, not like I think it is, like I know it is. Now, you got to have conviction in what you're saying, because that person is going to be reading your body language and your inflection of your voice. And you say, people don't do that. No, that's a natural thing as we mature and grow. We all do it. You may not have been taught it, may not have learned it like me as a skill set, where I actually took classes on all this stuff, body language, inflection, and communication. That's part of high level negotiation skills. Well, that's taught. Well, people innately pick it up in life also. So you've got to be convicted that this is everything we're saying it is. So if you don't feel that way, you've got to work on you. You got to work on you. Remember, that's part of my system. Part of the system is what? Belief. These 3 beliefs, until they're internalized in you, you can't really handle objections really well. You're going to need to handle them, but you're going to get better and better at it the more you start handling them. Okay. So this is why your attitude is so important as part of these skills, attitudes, and techniques, SATs that I teach, that you acquire by doing 7K. Well, I can buy products cheaper than that elsewhere. I already know it. I can get products cheaper than that. Really? Where do you get it that it's cheaper? Oh, okay. Now, if it's not one of the majors, and I've taught y'all who the majors are, there are some of the, none of the ones that's, if they're buying from the TV advertisers, they're really getting ripped off. And that's an easy sell, okay? That's an easy turnaround if they're buying from any of the ones that are advertising on TV. If they're buying from AppMex, moneymetals.com, Kitco, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, goldsilver.com, those are the majors. There's a couple of others that are out there that are pretty good. Now there's many of the numismatic sites that are really, really good. Or if they're buying from the mints, they're fine. But if they're just buying from some unknown website you never heard of, they're probably getting fake coins. And you say, but you aren't going to run into a lot of people like this, but most people don't have gold and silver, and they need it. So that's more of a specialized case, and I have some training on that in my bullion and comparisons and things like that. So you're just going to have to learn to find those videos and use those videos and say, well, you ought to take a look at this information. But basically, a person's been in Goldens for over 30 years. Use my credentials. I'm not a network marketer. I have a chemical engineering degree and an MBA, and I graduated magna cum laude. at LSU in the NBA. And I have an impeccable corporate career that you can use for them, because very few people are going to match my credentials. And I'm your business partner. And so this is what this guy thinks about it. So, maybe you can help me understand where he might be wrong. See, again, ask the question. Put them on the defense. The whole thing in handling objections is to not rudely, but to put the monkey on their back, not yours. That's how you handle objections properly. And that you always have that future come back to them where you can follow back up with them. They're always in the pipeline. That's what I mean by in my system that you contact people 7 times over a period of a long term. And if y'all went through my system that I'm talking about, we're talking about 5 years over that time that you're going to hit that person 7 times, 7 different times. And you may even follow up with some more than that because they truly have an interest. They just can't seem to pull the trigger or make a decision. They're not decisive. One of the other principles I want you to use, okay, remember, information is free, correct? I want you to get enough information so you can make an informed business decision. And you can even put that in a question form. Wouldn't it be correct to get enough information to make an informed decision before you actually make a decision? So you'll have to kind of learn the nuances of, do you use the question or do you use the statement? But remember, always use questions too at the end. Statement, question is the best form. Let's take it. Oh, it's one of those old pyramid scams. There's a lot of them that's out there. I agree with you. But let's just sit back for a minute. Let's don't get emotional about this. This company's dealing in U.S. currency. And you got to always have one of these around. That's that silver eagle. Okay, it's part of my tool set, right? Okay, so this company is dealing with U.S. currency. And they buy from the dealers that buy direct from the mint, and they give us dealer direct cost. Now, they also have numismatic products, exclusive products, that after 5 years, or pretty close to 5 years now, that they have their own exclusive. Let me just ask you a question. Do you think these dealers would be selling to a pyramid scam company? I mean, do you really think that's even possible? Do you think that NGC, the most reputable, largest grading company of numismatic coins in the world, would actually put their logo on the same label with a pyramid scam company? I mean, do you think they would do that? Do you think they know how to research a company better than you and I? Because their whole business depends on reputation. And if it's slightly tarnished, that would tremendously harm their business, because they're just a coin rating company. Come on, let's get real. Don't let preconceived ideas or past experiences get in your way of participating in something huge. Even if you just benefit just a little bit from it, from the 1099 benefit, that's where you got to have your wheel. That's where you got to know what all your benefits of 7K are. So you got to have this to pull out, even if you have it as on your phone or your app, but have a piece of paper. Remember, there's 2 pieces of paper I want you to have. That one and that one, okay? Those 2 pieces of paper handle a lot of objections because it's just a membership, like Costco. It's member direct marketing, like Costco, except they pay us more generously than Costco did or Amazon Prime did. And they do absolutely no advertising. So the only way people are going to find out about 7K is a person telling another person, like I'm telling you about it right now. You would never hear about it unless I told you about it, but you will hear about it from other people in the future. In fact, many more people will be telling you about this in the future. That's what makes it such a great opportunity for you and I now, before it is the Amazon of the gold and silver market globally. I just want you to get enough information to see what I'm trying to share with you. Information is free, right? It only takes a little of your time, but it's worth your time. Wouldn't a $500 extra a week for the rest of your life, if it took you 3 or 4 years, kind of part-time, maybe 5, to achieve that, wouldn't that be worth a little extra part-time learning and seeing? I mean, you can't lose a lot. This is not like you're buying a whole closet full of stuff that's got an expiration date on it, or you can't sell it in a garage sale for 1/10 of what you paid for it. This is getting products of proven value. And if you really understand the 1099 tax benefits, if you're employed, none of it really costs you anything. It's your tax dollars that you're getting back pays for it all. Now, wouldn't that be worth knowing? Wouldn't that be worth knowing how? And then you use the tools that I've provided you in my 21 steps to success, where I have the taxes on one of the emails with the third-party validations and even actual paper examples. Learn this one. Hey, Gary. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I understand. I understand you've tried these things before and they never work. I understand that. And I understand you're tired of building up hope and thinking, it's going to be the financial foundation, and you get really let down. I understand that. I understand that. I truly do, Gary. But if you don't try, you can never succeed. What in your life is going to change financially if you don't do something different? Again, what did I just do? Made a statement, asked a question. What in your life is going to change financially if you don't do something different? Hey, Gary, can you think of anything that's better to do than to buy a product once a month that has value, no shelf life, and it gains more value in time? They call that the $1.2 million mistake. Now, that's where you use your app. You shoot them that small 2-minute video about the $1.2 million mistake. That's all it addresses. And if you use the app, you can shoot it to them. That's the best way. Or you can email it to them. You can copy and paste that. There's a whole bunch of ways you can do that. You need to learn how to do these things. If the app doesn't work for them on their phone, or what, you can copy and paste these things. And you can email. The link still works. Did use other people's stories, like Joseph Flatten's, with his whole physical inventory. He's proud to show that they would have never saved that money. And now those products that they spent on are worth so much more even today, if he wanted to sell them. But the point is, he would have never saved that money in the first place. It would have never stayed in CDs or 401ks, or it would have always been pulled out for some reason. But in this form, it's harder to spend. Hey, Gary, what if I'm right about this and you were wrong? What if I'm right? Because I know I am, because I see already with my experience here with this, how many people over this 5 years of all walks of life are making these kind of incomes. That you have this one piece of paper that you show them. It's a simple thing and a hard thing, and it's something we have to learn. And if we just concentrate on the first one, one on the left and one on the right. I mean, what if it took you a whole year to get one on your left and one on your right? You're going to be on somebody's side. A whole team's going to be building with you. And that's where you have my piece of paper that I show y'all, that these kind of things happen. You have a whole team built. You get credit for everything that's there. Oh, see, they have to know how that works. With picture examples. What are you doing in your life that could give you $500 extra a month even? And you accumulate wealth in the process, not face creams, hair creams, more vitamins you can take. Yeah, you got to buy a product every month. But look at the product we're buying every month versus all those other deals that you tried and looked at before. That makes a big difference. Now, if you're going to get hung up on, well, I could get one like this there and that. If you're going to get hung up on that, you're right. You're going to have to get more information because it's just not for you. But if you're interested in accumulating wealth and earning extra money, that's the cost of doing business. Just like if you were paying electricity for your business, or rent for your business, or water and sewer to operate your business every day, that's your overhead. But it's a product of wealth accumulation for you. It's big business. And it is an internet home-based business. We get to run it as a plan B. Don't you need a plan B? Well, I can't ever sell those things. You know, if things go to pot, you know, it's only worth the silver in there. Well, Bob has already provided you a video answering that question specifically. But I'm going to give you the short answer for it. You guys, I can understand how you might feel that way. And there are a lot of people who will break open that seal on some very valuable products, even like that one, and use it just as silver. There will be people who do that, but I'm not. And I would recommend you get yourself in a position that you don't have to do that either. Because see, that would be just like in all the wars and all the time in history, as great art and great collectibles were destroyed, used for firewood or whatever, or just got destroyed, the ones that were left became even more valuable. Does that make logical sense? So when we talk about accumulate wealth, if we're not going to break ours open, and after the Great Reset, we've got true art collectibles that have become extremely more valuable. Does that make sense? Make a statement, ask the question. If there's one thing I'm teaching you in answering objections, it's this one. It's Bob Reid's way. Make a statement, ask the question. Put the monkey on their back, not yours. I actually learned that in the art of negotiation, where I had maybe about, my company spent, maybe close to $30,000, $40,000 in negotiation training when I was a corporate executive doing joint ventures, union contract negotiation. Started way back then when I was a plant manager. So yeah, union negotiations are some of the toughest to me, more than business deals. But you know, this is the thing I want you to be able to capitalize most on, and is these little statements and you know, what are you doing different in your life that's going to make a difference 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, if you don't do something different? Makes sense, doesn't it? Come on, join me in this. Let's have some fun. Let's accumulate some wealth. Or, you know, go to the far extreme. If you can't get them off this pyramid and multi-level marketing thing, you say, hey, look, just join me in the thing. Won't kill you, won't make you go broke. I mean, just kind of think about it. Kick the tires from the inside. That's the best way. Learn it. Become a member. I mean, if you don't want to get yourself a coin every month and keep that bank volume there, because they'll accumulate volume for you. And you need to show them a couple of examples where, you know, volumes accumulate. But say, you know, join and prove to yourself from the inside out any objection you have, and you get all these membership benefits that you can take advantage. Just 7K Advantage program alone, you're going to save more money in that than you will your whole membership cost. But you get to buy gold and silver bullion. You get all these other benefits. Remember the benefit wheel. But say, let's just say you're here and you don't buy a coin every month. Your volume's going to be 0 and 0 because you don't buy a coin. It's not going to collect volume. It will for the first month, then it's going to disappear because you become inactive. Everybody that's active That thing will accumulate. You could end up having tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of points, and points are dollars. But see, this big group, just because you there not doing anything doesn't mean these people up here aren't going to be building a group, and these people down here aren't going to be building a group. But see, this whole group here, you could have never built that because quite frankly, we could agree you don't have the right attitude to build that. But look what would have happened to you. You'd have half a business built. And so 2 years or 3 years from now, when you figure out this is real, this is more than what I said it was, look what an advantage you have. Whereas if you start down here, you got a left and right with nothing in it. And here you got people buying product, you got people renewing, you got people, all those points come up in here. As soon as you buy a coin every month, it starts collecting volume. Makes sense, doesn't it? You've got to show them the advantages of just becoming a member and kicking the tires from the inside, because they can never kick the tires from outside looking in. They can never find out the answer to all of their questions. And it's just $199, even if they don't want to do the auto ship. But let them know what their consequences of not doing the auto ship are. And they don't get 1099 tax advantages. They got to be on an auto ship to get the 1099 tax advantages. Hello. Because you're not trying to make a profit. That's the only way you can get those 1099 tax advantages. You got to be trying to make a profit. You don't have to make it. You got to be trying to make it. And that is the big key difference in answering objections. And learn to use the many myriad of videos that I have, bullion calls, collectibles, our other tools that we have. And then, the last one that I like to have, and it's really approaching it as a business. And it's just asking a question. Look, Gary, let's just be honest. Times are getting bad. We're not guaranteed our jobs anymore. I mean, we may have to do things we would never want to do, in fact, refuse to do, just to keep a job. Well, wouldn't it be good to have a plan B? I mean, wouldn't it be good to have a plan B? Well, let me suggest this. Where could you start a business for $499? You're going to get 6 websites, hosted, maintained, kept, and they keep all your records for you inside these websites. You get a fully functional e-commerce site. You get a fully functional office that keeps everything, and you get a full training system and learning system. It's kind of like getting a McDonald's franchise for 500 grand, and here's all the books and the recipes to do things, and you got to do it their way, and you got to go to their school to make that hamburger and to make that shake, make those fries exactly the same way every time, the way they want it, not the way you want. Except that's 500 grand or $1 million. Here it's $499. Now, to keep your business going, you're going to have to pay $105 a month, but it's not in electricity, it's not in rent, it's not in water and sewer, it's not in insurance. It's a product of value. And don't even ask me how much it's worth. It doesn't matter. That keeps your business open. It's your overhead. but it's a product of value. You'll learn in time that it's worth a lot more than you paid for. And then you get 1099 tax benefits as long as you're employed. But what happens when you're not employed? Well, that's the cost of doing business. And then what we do is share this, and you could earn $500 a week, one on your left and one on your right. And you use this. And then you give the example. When you have 100 people on this team and you only put one in, and you got 100 people on this team and you only put one in. And what if they're just averaging 20 points a month in that team of 100? Just 20 points a month average. That's 20 times 100. That's 2,000 points a month coming up in your counter. 2,000 points coming up in a month. So let's divide it by 4. That's 500 a week on average. Not to say it's going to happen exactly like that, but that's on average. Gives you the sense of what we're talking about. Well, if you personally sponsored one person on your left and one person on your right, and they're active like you are, then you're going to make a $500 check every week. So what if it took you a year or two? You know, one side's going to be bigger than the other, Gary, because even if you don't build it, others are going to build it, either below you or above you, because they want to rank up. To rank up, they have to add more people. You know, 2 on their left, 2 on the right, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, 4, 5 on their left, 5 on their right. Well, see, they can only add on left or right, and it goes to the first available spot. And it just so happens to be under you too. That's pretty neat. So what else are you doing in your life that even gives you a remote possibility of doing something like this? Or are you just ready to just take what life gives you? If you're ready to just sit back and take what is given to you, then you're right. The timing is not right for you right now. I'll check back with you later at another date. You got to be able to take it away from them nicely. Okay? So a business in a box for $500, $105 a month, products of value, make a statement, answer an objection, ask the question, make a statement, ask them a question, and then you shut up, don't say another word until they talk, or repeat the question. So if they don't answer it, just repeat the question. Let them talk first. Even if you have to repeat the question 3 times. And that is proper objection handling. I hope this will stead you real well. This is training only, so never share this video with a prospective member. Only use it with your team as part of their training in handling objections. I'll see you on the beaches of the world, because 7K does one extravagant 5-star 7K getaway trip every year, and they've just announced the 2022 trip to even a more exclusive place in Cancun. Can't wait to get there. We're going to have a lot of fun. And see you on the beaches of the world as you prepare for the Great Reset and then come out of that reset better off than anybody you know, because you're going to have these products of value that you didn't break open, and are going to be even more rare and even worth much more money than they were going into it. Thank you.